Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de something I've never thought I'd shine a spotlight on, and that's the single player experience of a fighting game that I'm playing. Okay, in this specific case, the World Tour mode, that brand spanking new experience of the latest mainline game of the Street Fighter series, Street Fighter 6, of course. Hey, XenPuck here. So I think I've already sang my praises of Street Fighter 6 in general previously, right? Oh, that still holds true, of course. As most fighting games, they live and die usually by the competitive side, the multiplayer side, right? So long as there's people all over the world playing the game will thrive. Me personally, I'm only middle of the pack here at best, having devoted something like 200-ish hours to this game in the last couple of months. But most recently, I have been surprised and delighted by its signature single player mode named World Tour. And frankly, having gone back to this mode in the last week, which I think I previously called a glorified, very long tutorial, my feelings on it has actually grown on the positive side. So today's rant will be a more in-depth analysis of why I think this is probably the best single-player offline mode that I didn't know I needed, but then has grown just more happy with over time. I mean, it feels so surprising, a single-player mode in an inherently multiplayer formatted type of game. Okay, how did they create this black magic? So, if you enjoy some random rants from a dude with no production skills, clearly, like, subscribe, share, comment, or whatever, okay? I'll be great regardless, because I just do these for funsies. Hit that bell icon. I still don't know where that is, but I'm asking you guys to do something that I almost never do on this platform. Yep, that's me, casual hypocrite about a minor internet detail. Meh. First, what even made me come back to the single player mode in a fighting game anyway, right? Of course, it is because there's a new DLC character update coming around the corner featuring the infamous Cherry Bogard of Fatal Fury fame. Woot! What a great guest character, but alas, not one that I'm super into personally. As always, I am a stingy mofo, so I don't pay for DLCs generally. Most likely, I'm not. I'm gonna wait until the complete version of Street Fighter 6 is done in a couple of years, or unless Armika comes back for the game. But I really do want to talk about how Capcom's dealing with these new characters, especially when it comes to the single-player World Tour mode, right? That's what I think we're talking about today. So basically what they're doing is that they let you have all the DLC characters for the single-player offline mode to play around with. So I can learn the toolkit, basic moves, and try out some of the specials. I mean, I can actually amend my avatar with Terry's moveset and use them even, actually not just offline, I can even use them in avatar battles in Battle Hub as well, okay? But mainly the ability to muck around with a DLC character in the single player mode I think is just good form, okay? It lets players test drive the character, and I can see if gameplay-wise somehow I'm very in tune with this new tune, well, if that turns out to be the case, maybe I would then shell out actual dough to use them competitively online, right? So this test drive aspect is what I love, and I'm glad, at least in this single-player RPG mode, I can basically cosplay as tunes that I don't love enough generally to buy. So thank you, Capcom, for that. Now, of course, I was already at the end of World Tour mode, having previously finished the mode's main story before I moved towards, the whole multiplayer online aspect, right? So I thought, oh, I was pretty much done with the mode then, right? Actually, no. In the past week, I've learned that the post-main story grind in World Tour mode is actually quite worth doing, okay? So when I started recently again, my avatar was already in the mid-50s in level, and the level cap is 100, so that seems very far away, right? So, and I have not maxed out any of the in-game masters, so basically those are the created characters already, right? And there's more than 20 of them in terms of style that you can choose from, right? So besides the mastery levels, There's also the Master's Bond levels, so that they can show you more flavor text or story background info. So that's 3 different ways already to grind for some minor achievements, right? I have thought like that every RPG fanatic would know the post-game grind can be long and tedious, but in this case, I think that's only like a little bit true. The reality is that there are like more than enough goals to farm for, that it is fairly quick when you're in-game, you play for 20 minutes or something like that. It's pretty easy to get a rush of increase in either, let's say, your avatar gains a level, or your avatar gains a mastery level, or just like you have gotten a lot more gold, right? So there is enough of a balance between a grind and that occasional dopamine high, right? So the grind itself doesn't feel too tedious, right? Not to mention, there are still other systems in the game that I haven't even bothered to try yet. I probably will as soon as I hit the level cap, right? An example would be, they have a whole, you can enhance your gear thing. I've never tried it, but it sounds cool, and I will get to that at some point, right? I love all this post-game content, just for the single player, by the way. Not mandatory, but definitely nice to have, okay? This is direct contrast to, let's say, Street Fighter V story mode, right? That one, you finish the story mode, that's it. There's nothing else to do. This World Tour has replayability. That's fantastic. And finally, what's the point of, doing all this World Tour mode after the story part is over anyway, right? It is, of course, to make your avatar super OP, right? Now, when I first finished the story, like level 50-something, my avatar just felt like customized, hodgepodge character. That was interesting, but not overpowered. But now, as I'm closer to the level cap, right now I'm like level 95 or something, okay? I have like 8 slots for grounded specials, and that makes my possibilities much more varied, okay? And as I also increased a lot of mastery levels. This way I can gain access to most of the specials that I'm interested in. And now it's possible to make some really consistently themed avatars. Right? I'll give you an example. My latest example is just a pure zoner. So I gave my avatar an air fireball, a straight fireball that could be a double fireball, a very slow plodding fireball, and or poison puddle, right? As well as a arching bouncing fireball and a level 1 fireball. So basically, in one combo, I can hit the enemy with 4 or 5 different regular fireballs into a full super fireball from full screen, and that combos. Now this type of zoning makes the traditional guile boom loops like keepaways, it just makes it look amateurish. Now I'm not saying this setup is invincible at all by any means, of course not, right? And a single EX Psycho Crusher will go through all these fireballs. But still, it's kind of hilarious to see, at least in World Tour mode, they don't care about projectile limits. You can just throw out all the fireballs that you want, right? I love Capcom's just letting, players go a little crazy. What's even better, you know what? Whatever setup I think is genius, I can always be, inspired by other players when I can see their unique combinations when I try the avatar battles online as well, right? So in conclusion, I guess what I'm really appreciating isn't just World Tour, but also how it relates to Avatar Battle and Battle Hub as well, right? But it's mostly World Tour, okay? Because it appeals to the tinkerer mentality in me, okay? Even when I was farming in gold, trying to optimize the loadout for my character just to beat a mini-game most efficiently, that was kind of, a tinkerer's dream, right? I still play multiplayer, obviously, Street Fighter, because that's what I've known for decades at this point. But for the first time, I think I've ever known in a mainline Street Fighter game, I was actually quite happy in the last week taking a break from multiplayer and just playing single player for hours and hours, okay? I can even now be excited for new DLCs because there's always the new single player World Tour content that comes with it. So yeah, keep it up, Capcom. It's nice to be surprised and delighted by a big, well-known corporation, I guess. So yeah, cheers. I'll approach it.